All right, so I'm back for Star Trek versus Star Wars 1.3. So, I'm still waking up too, but I'm more awake than I was earlier. So, when I last left off, I talked about how I like Star Trek Discovery's season one writing. I haven't seen season two yet. I actually gotta reserve that from my library so I can kick back and watch it because I'm not gonna get CBS All Access. Fuck that shit. Nah, because I'm not gonna pay 10 something a month for what, two shows that are gonna be on there. I'm good. I'll wait. I'm more patient than everybody else is. So, in terms of writing, between the two of them, I love all the different stories. It's amazing. It's you got fucking 50, 40, and 50 years of stories that have been told between the two of them, and they're phenomenal, and you can't go wrong with that shit. Like, it's really good. Some people don't like all the stories, and that's understandable. I mean, not everything's gonna appeal to you right away. It takes time. You gotta really absorb it all. And when you read it the first time, you're like, oh, this is bullshit. Ugh. And then you listen to it or reread it, and you're like, oh, this is really fucking dark. So, and then also an addendum, I forgot about the Cassian show and the Obi-Wan Kenobi series coming up on Disney Plus as well. So, both of them are pretty much almost even in terms of releasing content and such. So, I'm gonna pick up with, what was it? Trilogies, that's right. So, after 2005, actually, after 2002, there wasn't another Star Trek film for another 7 years, so 2009 comes around. And for Star Wars, the last film was 2005, and another film hadn't come out for a decade. But in that interim, you can see how they traded their strengths for their weaknesses. And, like, Trek's strength versus Star Wars is Trek's strength is TV. Because they know how to really write a good show on TV. When it translates to a movie, I mean, it's give or take. It depends. Um, it always depends on what it is. I'm not dissing the Star Trek films or anything. I'm just saying when you look at the films, a lot of there's a difference. Like, you can tell the quality is really different. And I think they had taken if they hadn't done 6 Star Trek films back to back the way they did, oh no, that's not what I meant. If they had adapted a movie from each series of Star Trek into a film, I think it would have been more successful in a theater run versus TV as well. Like, they would have dominated both TV and film more. Um, so, wow. Jesus. So, there's a 7 year difference for them dropping a film, and then there's a 10 year difference for Star Wars dropping another film. And, I've seen all the films, for the most part. Yeah, I've seen all of them, but each one's different. I've already gone over that, but Star Wars made up for not having films out for over a decade by having the Clone Wars on TV. And they had the micro series in 2002 to 2003. That's fucking beautiful. You can find the movie for it on YouTube because many people have uploaded it to where it's a full movie, and I consider it a movie now. There was actually a 2K version of it on YouTube. It got flagged by Disney and taken down for copyright. I saved it before it disappeared. So that's sitting on my laptop to watch anytime I want. It is gorgeous. Oh, it's so, so gorgeous. And then after 03, there was nothing for a while. And then they pumped out books to tie in for. Ooh, I'm tired. Then there was a bunch of tie-in books for the prequels, and then there were games. There was Lego Star Wars. There was Revenge of the Sith, Attack of the Clones, the Clone Wars. I don't remember every single game, but you get the point. And everything tied in together so nice and neat. You had Star Wars Bounty Hunter. That was cool. And I already talked about how that ties into storytelling and everything. So basically, I'm on writing. And as you know with this, I'm going to be jumping around at different points, but it'll be coherent once you get through it all. So after there was a whole decade of no films or anything for Star Wars, they stuck with the Clone Wars. And that lasted a long fucking time. And each season got darker and darker and darker. And it was so coherent and so amazing because you had a full spectrum storytelling. You had engaging plots. You had even political episodes. The political episodes are basically a how-to guide in writing politics, which is nice. For Star Wars, that's pretty cool because it was innovative. And that was in 2008. I remember when that debuted. Oh man, it was so cool. 4 million people tuned in for that shit. Crazy. But from 2000, so that ran from 2008 to 2013, and it was a damn good series. I can't believe it ended like that. And then they brought back and then they gave us the Lost Missions on Netflix, which was nice. That's something on my nose, annoying the shit out of me. Ain't my mustache hair. I trimmed the shit out of that. What else? Lost Missions were good, and they tie in amazingly. And you can watch it, straight 1 through Lost Missions, or you can watch it chronologically, whichever way you would please, which is nice. So 2002, you'll see I'm yo-yoing. 2002 was Star Trek Nemesis, and then that was it for Star Trek. There was no other shows on TV for Trek. That was it. There was nothing. Enterprise had ended. Oh no, Enterprise was still on. I'm sorry. I'm still tired. I'm remembering stuff. Because I actually wrote it on my wall 14 years ago. May 6, 2005 was the series finale for Enterprise. I'm sorry about that. So yeah, Enterprise was the last breath of Trek TV for ever. So 2005 rolls around, boom, nothing's on TV, nothing to watch Trek wise. And this is before different networks had licensing rights and stuff to show whichever series was allowed to be shown. You know what I'm talking about. Because one network could show TNG reruns, the other network showed whatever reruns. Sometimes Sci-Fi would run a 4-hour block of Star Trek Enterprise or something. It all depends. because a lot of channels need to get licensing rights to show certain shows and whatnot. It's a pain in the ass. It's so stupid. This was before Netflix. So I'm jumping before, streaming services were even popular. And then we go to, movies are out again. It took them. So Enterprise ended in '05. 4 years after that, we had Star Trek reboot 2009, or the Kelvin trilogy. Kelvin trilogy's okay. I did a review on it. It's 7 out of 10 for me total, the whole trilogy. Best one out of that trilogy is Star Trek Beyond in 2016. That was alright. That was good. I gotta rewatch it though. Because when I watched it the first time, I was just like, eh. Well, no, I was like, ooh. And the second time I watched it, I was like, eh. Third time I watched it, I was like, ooh, okay. So, it's tricky. And then you got the sequel trilogy for Star Wars. You have Force Awakens that came out in 2015. And then you had that came out through a lot of criticism and racism and hatred and shit. Yeah, oh, it was bad. And I hated that because I don't know why people are so fucking hateful. Like the first trailer, people were so pissed off because it was a black stormtrooper. Like, what the fuck? And then here's something that not a lot of people know. If you have been living under a rock and you've never seen any fandom of Star Wars or any kind of fandom at all, you are oblivious to racism and shit and all that. Well, here's how racism works. If you are a member of Wikipedia, if you don't know what I'm talking about, that is the official Star Wars reference site. When Force Awakens came out and all the trailers were said and done, you had the one stormtrooper that yells "traitor" at Finn. Well, that's FN 2199 or 2199, and he has that baton, Z6 riot baton, the one that spins and shocks the shit out of you. There was one or two people that kept re-editing that article. And some of them are really funny edits. They called it an anti-son of a bitch stick. That was funny to me. And then there were the ones that were hateful and racist. There was one that retitled it Nigger Beater, Coon Sticker. Yeah, it was bad. It was so bad. I hated it. I was like, that's nice. So yeah, people don't like change. People are so afraid of change, especially hardcore fanboy man babies. And it's always dudes complaining, never chicks. I've never seen a female fan complain about shit. Oh no, I take that back. I saw one fan complain on Facebook about something. Because it surprised me. I was like, okay. Because every post you see is always grown ass dudes bitching and moaning. It's retarded. Anyway, so Force Awakens comes out. It was good. It took me about 6 tries to get into it because it was, it's one of them things that you really gotta. It takes time to get into. And then 2 years after that, we had Last Jedi, and everybody hated Last Jedi. I loved it. I like everything new. I have no problem with shit. I don't get that upset about stuff. I really don't. I mean, if you're that upset about it, that a film upsets you, you need to get help. Seriously, you need help. And now we got, Rise of Skywalker coming out this December. December, what was it, 20th? Yeah. It's between the 16th and the 20th of 2019. So, I'm excited for that. I'm super excited for that. Can't wait to get into that and enjoy it. And, like comparing this sequel trilogy to the Kelvin trilogy, I don't know. Like, the sequel trilogy is better because it's a fresh take. I mean, they're both fresh takes, obviously, but there's more passion behind the sequel trilogy versus the Kelvin trilogy. Because with the Kelvin trilogy, it's for me, it's too sexualized. Like there's well, it's not the sexualizing. It's just there's different parts of it that there's different scenes, and I went over this that I didn't really care for, but everybody else probably did because everybody likes a cheap body shot. um, like the storytelling is funny for Kelvin trilogy right now because in my head somebody said it's like Fast and Furious in space, and then I also watched the trilogy. I'm like, I need to get that notion out of my head for a while. um, it's also funny because the Enterprise gets destroyed in every fucking film. Literally every movie it gets destroyed. It's too funny. I've said that. Um, but that's just my opinion. Like that's how it is. Like every fucking film it gets destroyed. Um, for the sequels, you get a different look at stuff. And after a couple of years go by and how you look at everything and everything you've taken in over the years, you start to really realize how in depth it really is. Like I just rewatched Force Awakens for like the 10th time. Was it last night? Yeah, last night I did. Yeah, yesterday morning I watched it and I didn't realize it, but everybody wants Rey to come out as, a Jedi and shit. Watching her fight, oof, man, watching her fight with Kylo. Oh my eye. There we go, that's better. Watching her fight with Kylo on Starkiller Base, she was definitely dark side then. Definitely. Like, if you really watch, like, you can tell that she is, going full dark. And then the trailer for Rise of Skywalker with the double bladed red lightsaber, yeah, she's gonna be dark side. Ooh, ship code. Nice. So that's gonna be interesting to see. And I'm anxious for that because also, if you pay attention to her outfits, in Force Awakens, she's wearing brown. In Last Jedi, she's wearing gray. And it's like, color plays an important part in the Star Wars universe and storytelling. I learned this from what was that? Return of the Jedi. And George Lucas was talking about how Luke was wearing a black uniform, but when he found his father and brought him back, when it opened up white, it showed he was still pure inside. Rey's outfit is gray, showing that she's in flux, basically. And there's just so much. And I've watched the Reylo theories, and I like the Reylo theory. Vincent Vendetta, aka Vincent Vendemption, did a hell of a trilogy on that shit. It's on YouTube. I downloaded and saved it. Just in case it gets flagged for copyright again. Like the theory for Reylo is solid. I couldn't believe all that shit was there. And I got so much education out of that shit. Like, I'm sitting there watching the trilogy for it, and there's so much education in that I never got in school. It's ridiculous. And that's a whole nother video to do down the road. Damn, itchy. So yeah, like between the two of them, like there's more storytelling. The storytelling is superior in Star Wars because there's emotion and there's depth and there's clarity and there's intricacy through it versus Star Trek, which is more technical and they're more focused on, building like, I mean, there's passion and stuff between it, but not as passionate as Star Wars is. Because Star Wars, I don't know. I mean, it goes both ways. But for me, like, there's not enough passion in Star Trek films, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Or maybe they just missed the mark in certain areas versus where they had their strength. Like their strengths in storytelling were in the shows, and there's less strength in that in the movies. Whereas Star Wars thrives in movies and television, which is nice. So it's pretty nice to see how it, pans out and everything and whatnot. So what else did I have? Oh man, yeah, I just did that. I made a list of stuff to talk about. So I will be right back. I'm going to stop here since this is, over 20 minutes and upload this and come back with another installment. I told you it's going to be fucking long. Stay tuned.